Millennials are key to why startups are lower than they should be. That's an age group, say 20 to 35 today, in that general range, that historically has been a high age group for starting businesses. In the case of millennials today, they have some distinct differences and problems compared to, say, my generation, the baby boomer generation. In my generation, a lot of people started businesses by taking the equity they had in their homes, putting a second mortgage on it, using that money and shoestringing into a business. Today, most millennials on the other side don't have equity in homes. After the Great Recession of 2008-9, anyone who did have a home lost their equity, or many of them did. Second, they have student debt, and student debt has become a huge anchor on this generation. And part of what I think we should do is relieve student debt, and there are various ways we can make that less of a pressure for people who go in to start a business and are actively working at an entrepreneurial activity. Their student debt should be suspended or should be reduced so that they're not anchored by that, because that's a problem. A third problem is there's a psychological impact of the Great Recession. What happened in 2008, 2009, for many people will be a once in their lifetime, hopefully, event. Hopefully we don't have another one of those. But it was a psychological as well as financial event, because everyone, most people anyway, know people that really got wiped out financially by the downturn. And the fact is, I think our government did a great job of making it not as bad as it might have been, but it was very, very bad. And I think those three factors, the lack of home ownership, the student debt, and the impact of the Great Recession on the mindset of millennials are all challenges that should be talked about and should be dealt with. And I also think entrepreneurship is beginning to age up. A lot of people are starting businesses at later years. Entrepreneurship and starting a business is about a lot of things, but one of the keys is making that last decision to take the risk. And there are many people who today watch Shark Tank, hear about deals in Silicon Valley. Even though we have fewer startups, we have sensational examples of big success stories. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. We have movies about people. In the days that I started, entrepreneurship was not nearly as popular or as respected. It's a very ironic contrast, but today we have a great respect for entrepreneurship and a popularity, but a more difficult environment. And for many wannabe entrepreneurs, they don't jump in because they remember the Great Recession, they have some student debt, they're not even at zero where, when I started my business, I started with $4,000 that I had saved from age 8, 9, doing various work. I didn't have a whole lot to lose. I had $4,000 to lose. And I didn't have student debt, and I didn't have any of those anchors. And I didn't know that I shouldn't be able to do what I did. And that's a big help. Today, people know too much about how hard it is and how risky it is. And it's a big psychological thing to take that risk, especially if you have a family. The older you get and the more things you have to lose, the more difficult it is to make that jump. I not only became an entrepreneur because I didn't know any better, I've done a lot of things as an entrepreneur because I didn't know any better. I believe that you can definitely know too much. I think for many people, not all, but for many people, going too long in college makes it harder to be an entrepreneur. There are some very successful MBAs from Harvard that have started businesses and done well. So this is like everything, it's not 100%. But I think for many people, if you get your MBA at Harvard, you learn all the things that can go wrong, and it might be enough to scare you out of trying. And you might rather take a huge paying salaried job with a big bonus at any number of places that want you because you're a very educated person. So you can know too much. One of the benefits of being younger and being an entrepreneur is that, it's a time when a lot of your friends are not making a fortune and you're all sort of enjoying the starving and getting started in your career. So it's a great time to start a business.